But it's a very different type of exotic hunt than what people are used to. People are used to hunting, these kind of African exotics or, Indian exotics and stuff on, high fence kind of game ranches in Texas. It's a very, very common, very popular, hunt to go on. This is an exotic African species, but there's no high fence. It's fair chase. It's big, wide open, Southwest country where you can see for miles. To me, that's probably the main thing that makes it unique is you're getting an opportunity at a very incredible, beautiful, exotic species, but there's no feeders, there's no high fence. It's straight, wild, fair chase hunting. Near Socorro is probably the biggest town. It's 15, 20 minutes away. But you're looking at, there's hills, there's lots of rock, lots of sand, game all over the place. But it's perfect for Oryx, especially. The New Mexico Game and Fish Department in the late 60s, early 70s, they brought in a couple of different species of animals to see what they could get to grow out there. Well, but the Oryx, they just absolutely thrived in the area. And they were looking for more hunting opportunity in this type of terrain for, sportsmen that wanted to be able to hunt something a little bit different. And it's all fair chase. There's no high fence in New Mexico. It's illegal to high fence, places for hunting purposes. So the Oryx the population just exploded. And so they've moved off of that White Sands Missile Range, and they're on neighboring ranches. And that's kind of where the Fight Ranch comes in. There used to be maintained water on the White Sands Missile Range, but the wells that they had kind of sanded in, like in the late 80s, early 90s, and there has been water on there since. So the only water for these Oryx, they're on the neighboring ranches, and there's 9 waters on deeded private property on this ranch. And so all these Oryx, they move, across the fence line, to and from water on the ranch. And they're at times they're everywhere. We've seen herds of more than 100, these Oryx at a time on the ranch. And they're large animals. Ethical shot, assuming that you can shoot. Probably the average shot is going to be 200 probably, and that's a very, very doable shot. And we've had them before. And we had a rifle hunter out, and if we'd had a bow, we could have killed him with a bow, and we had him at 35 yards. 2 bulls walking right in front of us at 35 yards. The difficulty factor, goes up quite a bit with a bow because it's not always that you're going to get them within bow range. You can, but it makes it a little more difficult. If you want to increase your odds, rifle's definitely the way to go. It's a lot like hunting antelope in the West, where you kind of cover some country and do some traveling, and you kind of get glasses out and you spot, kind of figure out where they are. Then you make a plan from there to actually get to the animal. I've got it figured out for the most part as to where they're going, the kind of corridors they travel to and from the water, and so it's a spot and stalk. Basically, you can ambush sometimes, where you kind of head them off as, where they're going to water or whatever. But it's, you find them and you make a plan to clear a little bit longer, thinner. Bulls are typically a little bit shorter and have a little more mass to the horns. But most people, when you're looking through binoculars, can't tell the difference between the two. I don't think so. It's a great hunt. It really is. It's an extremely popular thing to do within, the hunting community in New Mexico. It's one of those things that on the missile range, it's a once-in-a-lifetime hunt. Once you get drawn, whether you kill one or not, you don't ever get drawn again. And so the opportunity to hunt off range on private property like this is huge for people, and that's why it's so popular. You don't have to go through the draw. You don't have to go through the wondering if you're going to get drawn, if you're ever going to get drawn. I know guys that have put in for 25 years, since they started this thing, and have never been drawn. So it's a great opportunity for somebody who doesn't have the time or patience to have to try to deal with going through the draw.